My grandfather, my dad's dad, was a very interesting man. If I could compare him to any animal, I would say he has the impulsivity of a monkey. I see how it passes on down the generation. But this story is one that always stuck with me from my childhood. My grandpa was a Chinese American who immigrated from Malaysia to Australia to upstate New York in a small town called Binghamton. That's where my dad grew up. And as a kid, my dad had always noticed a problem. Everyone had. Their front bushes in their house, right by the sidewalk, would be flattened nearly every night by a big truck who would come swerving down this quiet little street and run right over the bushes, demolishing them. It was a group of stupid teenagers in a big truck who wanted to have some fun. But this wasn't fun for my grandpa, and he became irritated and pissed off at having to continue to replant these bushes, puffing them up when they were crushed and buying a new one when they were demolished. So this kept happening, and it really got annoying to our family. And my grandpa got sick of it, and in his impulsive manner, he took a nail and took some hammers, and he nailed all these nails into a board. And he decided he was going to put it in the bush to pop the tires of the fenders and ruin their car. But as funny as that would have been, and probably as relieving and exciting as that would have been, my grandma was a little more level-headed and said, "Frank, you could kill these kids. Do you want to go to jail? Do you want to be responsible for the deaths of teenagers?" And so he decided not to. But it kept happening, and he continued to get more and more angry. He'd hear the car roaring down the street on a quiet night, and he'd open the door just in time to see the car drive past, bushes left flattened. And he decided, this is enough. I'm taking this into my own hands, and with no permission, no one's permission but his own, he took a bar of metal, a piece of rebar, and walked outside to the bush one day and hammered it in the ground where the bush was. It was invisible to the eye, but it was there. And one night, as he was sitting in the house, as my whole family was sitting in the house, they heard the car come. My grandpa was sitting there reading a newspaper. And they heard the car come, and everyone knew it was going to happen, but he was unbelievably calm. "Frank, they're coming again," said my grandma. My dad sat and watched as the car got closer, and then they all heard a "Koom!" and the car swerved off. Everyone went out to check, except him. Without lifting an eye, he continued to read his newspaper. As my family went outside, saw that there was a piece of metal bent inside the bush, and came back inside to see him content. Now that never happened again. The people in the car decided to go run over someone else's bush.